what a season you guys had this year. I mean, just kind of getting things going there at the end so well, winning I think 8 of your last 9 at one point with that, and made a great tournament run. What were some of your highlights this season as you kind of look back now? Had some time to kind of maybe take a step back from the end of the season.
Well, there was so much to celebrate from this year's team. We came into the season talking about this group being the group that had the chance to raise the standard for our program, and they really did. And it was so cool to see players like Casey Anderson and so many others just lead the charge. My belief is that the back half of the season is always going to be player-driven, and so you just hope that the players, move that culture toward a championship-type culture. And our group this year really did, and it was awesome to see all those things happen. And the results you saw on the field, they were just a result of special players doing special things.
Casey, talk a little bit about, from a player's standpoint, what it was like to be on this team this year, the camaraderie with the guys. It seemed like a really close-knit group.
Absolutely. I think, from day one you could tell no one had an ego. No one was out for themselves. Everyone was rooting for each other, and that goes a long way. And I think that's part of the reason why we had the year we had was, because, you knew every time you went out there that every single guy was pulling for you. And, when they went out there, like, you were pulling for every single guy, and it just, made things, easier at times, and when things were going tough, like, to have the great teammates that, that we had this year, like, just made things, better even when things were tough at times. So.
Going back to you, you here, Eddie. What was the biggest thing with that stretch run? What were like 2 or 3 of the keys with that team to be able to get hot there in the month of May, heading into the WAC tournament, and had a really good shot at a regional?
I think something I'd say about this team all year long is they never folded in tough times. It's easy to go through a rough stretch and make that rough stretch worse because of a bad attitude, and this team never did that. Never lost more than 3 games in a row, only lost 3 games in a row one time, and that was in March. To me, that's the sign of a team that's full of toughness, that has a great attitude, that plays for each other, and that was really cool to see. And I touched on it earlier, but the way that these guys came together and took on that ownership and that leadership as we went and made that stretch run, it's what you dream of as a coach. Every year we start in August with a bunch of unknowns, with new faces, and we try to prepare leaders. We try to have a group that understands that, hey, come late April and May, you'll be running the ship. Where do you want that ship to go? And this group took that ship right about where we wanted to go, and did an amazing job along the way.
Casey, talk a little bit about just kind of your season. You had a remarkable season. What were some of the keys that kind of led up, maybe starting in the fall, going through the season, especially kind of starting off in the bullpen and then moving into the starting rotation, and just kind of being that trusted arm, especially early on out of the pen, to kind of be able to just kind of stop the other team and kind of be able to rally the troops?
Yeah, I think it was, a combination of 3 things. Starting in the fall, coming here on campus, the facilities that we had, like, the weight room, training room, the access to the coaches, like everything, just it all being right there, helped prepare, me and all the guys on the team more than, a lot of other places have. And, I think the coaches as well, like, working with Coach Smith and Coach K, from the pitching side of things, working with our strength and conditioning trainer, JJ and AC in the training room, like, the work that those guys put in for us is it's hard to express into words just how much they do for us. And, I think part of the reason why I had the year that I had, again, was because of the teammates that I had, and even when, at the start of the year I was coming out of the bullpen, I didn't have the best, fall that I wanted to have, but, they stayed behind me. They knew, the potential that I had, even, maybe if I didn't at times. And, I thought that was really awesome. And, and that made it easier for, for me and other guys to stay behind them when they were, slumping or going through, a tough time. And so, I just want to say how grateful I am to all my teammates, from this past year. And it was an amazing year. So.
Coach, can you please just kind of talk a little bit about Casey Anderson, what he meant to this team this year, and what were some of the things you saw that helped him be successful?
Well, first of all, he was our hardest worker, no questions asked. He came in and worked like a professional every single day. And, you saw the results that came from that, and that was the fun thing to see. But, I take a lot of pride and I take a lot of enjoyment in watching people do the work. And to see Casey come in and take care of his body, take care of his arm, take care of his skill development the way that he did, it was really cool. And he got rewarded with some awesome performances. To lead the conference in strikeouts, to be a guy who led us to 9 wins when he pitched in 11 WAC games. It just speaks for itself. And I'm so excited about Casey's future. It'd be wonderful if he's in our uniform next year, but he might also be in the uniform of a team that's paying him to play. And that would be a really cool opportunity for him also. So I think the world of him, and he's an individual who really, really put this program right back on the map.
Moving forward, Eddie, into next season, what's the impact of a year like this have on your program going forward? Maybe not just next season, but into like 2025 and 2026.
Well, the standard's been set for sure. This group set the standard to what we want it to be, and it's a little bittersweet for all of us for sure. We were 1 game away from the NCAA tournament, and that's the dream, of course, but this group set the standard from the everyday approach with our habits, with our work ethic, with what can be accomplished here. And they'll forever be remembered in this program. There's no doubt about that. And as we go forward, we got to maintain that standard. Part of getting to an NCAA tournament is just putting really good day after really good day after really good day together year after year after year, and eventually you win that big game that propels you to that next step. And this team, we pounded on that door and we were left right on that doorstep. There's no doubt there'll be a team here down the road shortly that will just bust that door open. And this team will be a large part of that team that does that, and really excited about going forward with that side of it.
Casey, coming off such a great year, what's the future hold? What do you do to build off of that year going into next season, and any plans that you have when it comes to specific things you want to work on to get better?
Absolutely. I think, just honing in on the things that we were trying to do this year. It's going to be a special group again next year. And, again, we just got to work to get 1% better every single day. And that's, coming in and building those consistent habits of working hard and building that team camaraderie and, trusting each other as a group. And, I think that now that we have kind of the framework laid out that, we'll be able to hit the ground running and not have to have the late run. Instead, we'll have, a run the whole season, and that'll lead into, good things and giving us a good chance to, make a run in the WAC tournament and actually winning it next year and making a regional and all those, fantastic things. So, but again, it starts from day one and just, working to build those good habits every single day and just refining all the, the good things that we want to get even greater at for next year. And so I think that's the key going forward.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Casey. We go back to you, Coach. Here's kind of the big question at the end. Can you give us a really early preview of what next year looks like?
Well, I think something that's really exciting for next season is a lot of our lineup is back. And, that lineup really came on offensively. We had a really, really good month of May and showed some good signs all throughout April also. So to have the great majority of those guys back is going to be a really good foundation. We are working diligently right now. I feel really excited about some guys coming back to help us on the mound. I think that we have some pieces coming in, and we're looking to add 1 or 2 pieces with guys out there that can come in and get our pitching staff to where we want it to be a championship team. You look at the guy next to you, what Casey Anderson meant to this team and this program. We won 9 out of the 11 WAC games that he pitched in. It takes a special person, a special performance like that from an arm or 2 to have a special season like we had. And so we need somebody to step up. That's a fun challenge. A year ago, we didn't know that Casey Anderson was going to be that guy, and we've got a pitching staff full of guys coming in next year. We're looking for another Casey Anderson to come in and have that kind of performance for us.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, you heard some great updates here from head coach Eddie Smith. We thank Coach Smith and Casey Anderson for taking some time with us today here to kind of recap the 2023 season, a 34-win season, and Utah Valley looks to build off of that coming up in 2024.